Hey guys, Frightener22 here, back with the conclusion of my Darker Side of Childhood triple feature. So to conclude this triple feature, I decided that I would take a chance on 1987's The Garbage Pail Kids movie. And I understand that this movie has tons of flack against it, that it's this terrible, you know, B movie that I'm sure a lot of people feel comfortable lumping into the same category as like Teen Witch, Troll 2, Howard the Duck, Showgirls. I mean, I don't think I need to go on and on. You guys know the list of bad movies. And, you know, really, what's wrong with that category? I mean, all the films I just, I just named off, I have really, really, soft spots for, So, the synopsis of this film goes a little something like this. Typical teen, Dodger, played by Mackenzie Aston, gets the surprise of his life when he uncovers a repulsive gang of alien kids in this gross-out tale based on the popular 1980s trading cards. Dodger frees Messy Tessie, Foul Phil, Valerie Vomit, and the other filthy kids from a garbage can, and they help him fight a bunch of bullies. But is the world ready for the icky Garbage Pail Kids, or will authorities toss them down the disposal? Anthony Newell co-stars. Now, like I said, I think a lot of people would feel pretty comfortable putting this in the shit pile of bad movies. And I have to say, it is what it is. I mean, it really is not the best movie by any means. But now, hear me out on this, because I know a lot of people were, I feel like a lot of people had somewhat different outlooks on my opinions on a movie like Showgirls last week. But hear me out on this. I mean, this movie, if you accept the cheese and you know what you're getting into on this, it is enjoyable on a lot of levels. I mean, like, it is, the character designs of all these Garbage Pail Kids are really, they're really disturbing. I mean, they're really weird, off-ball, characters. There are quite some characters in here. And, like I said, this is, based on the description, this is a film based on the gross-out trading cards of the 1980s. And that's, this film, this is my point when talking about the Garbage Pail Kids movie. Now, the days of films like this for kids and, television program, when you think about it, it seems like they're almost obsolete. Now, listen to me. Now, like, turn on your Nickelodeon or your noggin. I mean, the days of, classic Nickelodeon or classic, anarchaic children's program are kind of long gone when you think about it. Now, like, there's not really many programs or many movies that really push the envelope as far as, like, fart jokes or booger jokes or, just gross out kind of comedic value and stuff like that, because it's just not, I just don't think that it's PC anymore by today's standards. I just feel like, the 80s had a little bit more balls when it came to that kind of stuff. Like, they weren't afraid to make a dark film, because that is the nature of children. Kids are supposed to be wild, and things that they do are, can be pointless at many times and stuff like that. But when it's a film like the Garbage Pail Kids movie that when you watch it, it makes you appreciate the things that kids don't really see that much anymore. I mean, there are decent things on television and in movies now, but I just feel like if kids were exposed to films that had the same kind of spirit and wildness to it that the Garbage Pail Kids have, then I think kids would kind of have a little bit more of an enjoyable viewing experience, because they could really connect with a movie that, is really, talking to the feelings that they're having at a lot of moments. Kids are wild, they're crazy, and, when you have a film like The Garbage Pail Kids that are addressing all those weird, wild things that kids do, it makes you wonder, like, the Garbage Pail Kids movie is really, a really great period piece for its time, because those days of seeing this kind of entertainment for kids in heavy doses seems far and few, and I feel like every year it becomes less and less and less. I mean, I remember growing up on, the wild cartoons of Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life, and I just feel like, by today's standards, you just don't see that anymore. So that's kind of why, I give the Garbage Pail Kids movie a little bit more credit than a lot of people are willing to give it, because if you think about it in that standards, I think, the film on its own will you'll just kind of view it in a different light. Now, I don't mean to, that whole spiel, I don't want people to think that I, put this as an Oscar award-winning film, or that it's the greatest, cinematic achievement in the last 25 years. No, I mean, it is what it is. It's about, these garbage pail, kid creatures that come from a garbage pail in an antique shop, and they're just gross, disgusting little creatures that are there to just do gross and disgusting things on screen. And, the big point of it is what's wrong with that? I mean, there are, plenty of bad movies in here, but I definitely wouldn't categorize this as being one of the worst. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of cheesy, kid, disgusting humor. And I mean, for, if you are looking to enjoy a film on that level, then, look no further than the Garbage Pail Kids. I mean, this really is, a fun film. Now, a few minor things I'd like to note in this movie is that there are characters named Tangerine and Juice. The bullies in this movie are such fucking pricks to this kid Dodger. I mean, like, they look like they're pushing, like, community college age, and they're messing around with a kid that's, like, 13, 14, maybe 15. Like, you don't have anything better to do. Like, leave the damn kid alone. Like, what's your problem? Like, your name is Juice. Like, I don't know who's, well, then again, his name's Dodger, but when you put them side by side, would you rather want Dodger or Juice? I mean, like, that kid, has a few things to worry about than, picking on a kid named Dodger. So, I mean, if that being my only, small gripe with the movie, if you want to call it a gripe, I think that would be it. Now, another interesting thing to know is that the director of this film, Rodney Amatou, this was actually his last feature film directorial debut, and yeah, I know, I'm sure a lot of people are saying, yeah, well, what do you expect after the Garbage Pail Kids movie? Maybe so, but yeah, this was actually his last feature-length directorial debut in 1987 before his passing. But before he did pass, he was actually a pretty he was really heavy in TV, so he was directing a lot of TV. So before he did pass, he did manage to direct two episodes of Gilligan's Island. So the Garbage Pail Kids movie is a final ode for that director, if you will. So I definitely please take my words in this film and take it for what it's worth. Take a second peek at it. I definitely think it's worth it. So again, using the Netflix star system, I'm gonna have to give this one 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it, guys. So, I think that wraps up my triple feature of The Darker Side of Childhood. So, as always, guys, thanks again for tuning in. This was a really exciting week for me to review these films. I was really looking forward to it because I really had a sincere interest in viewing all these films. And, overall, it was a great Netflix week. I really enjoyed all 3 of those films. So, as always, guys, here's a little sneak peek for next Thursday's Q reviews. So this is, yet again, another theme review. I love those themes, guys. I hope you guys do, too. But, next week is, not the most unique theme review, but it is going to be a theme that's going to be a reoccurring one. So next week's theme is Recent But Missed Volume 1. Because, like I said, these are going to be, films that have come out in the last year or last few years that I just never got around to seeing, so I'd like to play catch-up on some of them. So, the 3 films next week that will be part of the Recent But Missed Volume 1 will be 2008's The Soloist, starring Robert Downey Jr. and Jamie Foxx, the Charlie Kaufman directorial debut, Synecdoche, New York, and the 2008 sci-fi thriller starring Nicolas Cage, Knowing. So, as always, guys, tune in next Thursday for my Q reviews. And, guys, as always, thanks again for tuning in. Please leave comments, feedback, subscribe. I really enjoy doing these things. I mean, it's really become a fun hobby for me to do, and, it turns out that a lot of people like tuning into me, so that, that couldn't make me happier. So, as always, guys, thanks again for tuning in, and as I said in the other videos, you guys can definitely bet on Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm aiming for Tuesday for the next DVD update, so be sure to tune into that, and, thanks again for tuning in, guys. See you next week.